Artificial intelligence is something we don't fully understand, and that's the uncomfortable truth behind this AI revolution right now. Some of the most powerful engineers and CEOs in the world privately admit that they're unsure where this is going, while publicly telling us that everything is fine. We're being told that AI will cure cancer, and then they say that it might wipe out human jobs. We're being told that it'll help humanity, and then say that it might replace it. My guest today is Kumar Erramilli, someone who's a founder, a builder, operator, and someone who really understands AI from the ground level up. He's founded Company ID, PaperDoodoo, and currently ACTO. So today we are not talking about hype, we're talking about reality. The reality behind the risks, the race, the capital, the power, the incentives, delusions, opportunities, and even the future that's being created faster than our society can even comprehend. This is a very important episode, so stay tuned and let's get right into it. Kumar, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Anytime, man. It's such a privilege because I just want to share a personal anecdote. So last year, I was going through a very tough time and we had lunch at the cricket club. And there was something that struck me straight away that you said. And I didn't quite understand it at that point. And what you said was you can't have any uncertainties in your life. And I was just sitting there thinking, I'm so lost right now. Everything is uncertain.
Right.
What do you mean I can't have this? And even though you could have played it very in that supportive role of like, oh, it'll be okay, or like, like, okay, maybe do this. You just can't be uncertain. That really, moved the needle in my head. Like, okay, it's okay to be uncertain,
right?
But you need to be certain that you'll get out of it at some point. And that mindset shift really helped me. Why can you not be uncertain?
Yeah. So first of all, man, I'm so excited to do this with you. I personally think that to me, there are two most important currencies that we as humans have. The first most important is our cognition. And the second most important for me is time, because we have limited time on this planet as humans. So cognition is what separates us from every other life and being on this planet. So cognition also allows us to be making decisions, to be making decisions about ourselves, our lives, our personality, like what we want to do, how we want to raise our kids, like, what do you want to be in your life, right? So in that, I think that, when you have that cognition and you are, you're evolving as a human being, then life happens, nature, chance, life will throw uncertainty at you. But in that, if you are also not decisive, then there's a massive problem for you, right? So that's what I mean when I say that life will make things uncertain for you. But in that, you have to have the cognition and the smarts to like be decisive. It's okay for life to throw uncertainties at you, and it will do that. But in that, when you have optionality of like several paths, we have to get smarter as human beings to make like some decisive, some decisions for yourself that will make you like, choose a path. Sometimes you're going to fail.
Yeah.
A lot of times you're going to fail. But that's what I meant. I meant like, as we're evolving, and especially like, man, I think compared to different generations and decades, us as humans have so much information at our hands now. So we're evolving at such rapid pace. There's so much reach of information, so much you can do with like just, the wealth of knowledge. So
yeah,
we have to get smarter in making decisions in our lives.
So I know this is more philosophical. We'll get to AI, but people who deal with uncertainty, right? Let's say someone's uncertain about what they want to do, where they want to go. Because in my generation, Gen Zs, a lot of them are very lost. They're like, okay, I want to make a move, but I don't know what that's going to be. That makes me uncertain. Hence, mind fuck, and that you just go down a spiral. What advice would you give to those kind of people?
Very good question. First of all, it sounds very simple and basic, but the reality is, if you don't do it, if you don't pursue something, then you'll never know, right? So the kids and the entrepreneurs these days, the young guys, they just tend to overcomplicate things for themselves by overthinking, overanalyzing on the wrong things, right? So they always pick and choose the wrong topics or like the wrong ideas in their heads to overthink and overanalyze, while you just got to do it. You just got to jump in, dive in. Like, you just got to be like able to take that plunge. And there are certain uncertainties in terms of like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to like, maintain a standard of living while I'm taking a risk, right? You have to be able to analyze the risk that you're going to take, right? So there are certain variables which you never know what happens in the future. But again, like, those are the things that you can kind of like almost bend the reality around. Like, when you dive in, you can almost make things happen. But yeah, the young guys, you just have to make a decision and you say that, okay, you know what, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to give it a fair shot, right? And let's just, like, you just got to dive in. But the trick there is no easy path. There's no short path. And that I'll talk about that a bit more, and I'll dive into a bit more detail on that. But you have to work your ass off when you do make the decision and you choose the path and you want to dive in. You're gonna have to work your ass off to actually just bend those things into and make the things work in your favor, right? Same as you, like, you're working so hard at this podcast and you're doing a fabulous job. And so you're going to have to put in all the hours, crazy hours. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things in order for you to be successful at what you do, right? But I'm so happy and I'm glad that you took the plunge and
I appreciate it.
Head on with it.
Yeah, it was such a, you have to be so delusional to think that things will work out eventually. You give yourself a false representation of the future and you're like, yep, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then when you have these daily troubles, you sort of just have that green light at the end of the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah.
And that just keeps you going. And then I think in one of the podcasts you just quoted, you're like, entrepreneurs are a different breed.
They are.
You just have to be. You have to be delusional.
In life, there's an element of risk associated with every action that you do. Every action that you're going to do has certain percentage of risk associated with that. Entrepreneurs are crazy. They tend to take, like, a lot of risk with a lot of percentage in there. And yeah, you're just a different breed, like, at that point, right? You're just thinking differently. You're thinking out of the box. What's riskier for like a normal person is in the realm of normal for like an entrepreneur, right? So, and that's why you do some crazy things and crazy amazing things, right?
Yeah. So obviously you're an AI expert, and there are a couple of things I just want to quickly mention that you did. Company ID was your first company, then Paper Doodoo, now ACTO, and ACTO is doing very well within the life sciences space.
Thank you.
You have Cayman Ventures, you have Cayman Falcons, which is obviously, so Kumar and I played cricket last year. We will play again once I get myself together.
Can't stop that.
But that jacket, the varsity jacket behind you, Cayman Falcons. Tell us what's happened with what is Cayman Falcons specifically, and what have you guys just achieved?
Yeah, so Cayman Falcons, well, first of all, like, I enjoyed playing cricket with you.
Yeah.
Cricket has been part of my life for the last 3 decades. I think probably the best thing that has happened to me. Outside of my family, like my parents, my teachers, and my wife and my kids, cricket has been the biggest, I would say, mentor,
Yeah.
advisor, teacher, shock absorber,
Therapist.
support, therapist.
Yeah.
Cricket has been everything,
Yeah.
right? And so since I started becoming an entrepreneur, since I started finding a little bit of success, I said, you know what, I'm never gonna part ways from cricket. Cricket is always gonna be ingrained in my life, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to support cricket. So then, 2018, I had the opportunity to invest in a cricket team. And I've always been like scouting out to diversify my portfolio and get some cricket investments going. And so this opportunity came about where a gentleman from Australia started a cricket league called Fair Break International. And the whole concept of Fair Break is to give a fair and equal chance for everyone in the sport and make sure that this sport is equally accessible by everyone. And so in that, I was given an opportunity to own a cricket team. And thus, I then invested into the cricket team. The first edition of Fair Break tournament happened in Dubai. And the best part about Fair Break is, number one, to promote gender equity in cricket. While men were getting all the spotlight and they were just dominant in the cricket as a sport, women were lagging behind. So this league is women's first league. And so that gender equity was like a big thing for me. And, you know, it was very serendipitous that my daughter was born in 2021. And it kind of like just became like more important for me to be part of this.
Mm-hmm.
And second is geo-equality. So cricket has been such dominant sport in certain nations, like with test playing nations. So non-test playing nations being part of this league is just as important as test playing nations. So what that means is in Fair Break, in a team, 6 players come from non-test playing nations and the 5 players come from test playing nations.
Gotcha.
We're the only league in the world to actually do that because every other cricket league is domestic. So an Indian Premier League is India, Pakistan Premier League, Super League is Pakistan, Sri Lankan Premier League is like, you know,
Big Bash Australia.
Yeah, so it's all it's all more domestic.
Mm-hmm.
And you basically have most of the players playing from that particular country, and then you have 4 imports. Like that's the kind of thesis for every other league. But Fair Break is the only league where it's truly international, truly global. And so Cayman Falcons was my team in that. And, you know, the first edition, 2022, was in Dubai. 2023 was in Hong Kong. In both the editions, Cayman Falcons were runners-up. So first, you know, being consistent, like it was amazing. And second, man, like I had such an incredible time with the team, with the diversity. We created history in Hong Kong where Cayman Falcons was the only across all sports in the history of sports ever played.
Mm-hmm.
We were the only team where 11 women from 11 different countries were on the field playing a sport.
Wow.
That
representing one team.
Representing one team. That has never happened in the history of cricket.
Yeah.
Pro cricket or pro sports anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment, just that 11 flags. So we have like flags on each of the shirts at the back just to share which country they're representing. That moment was a historic moment in the history of sports ever played.
Yeah.
And so that just like gave me like goosebumps like right down my spine. But yeah, that's what Cayman Falcons is. And, you know, I'm so happy to share this. So based on the success that I found with Falcons, I actually then bought into the league itself. So now I'm a part owner of the Fair Break League.
Mm-hmm.
And happy to share that Fair Break League signed a 5-year deal with Saudi Cricket to host one annual Fair Break Women's International Tournament every year in Saudi for the next 5 years. And this is officially officiated by and signed by the CEO of Saudi Cricket and overseen by the Royal Prince himself.
Wow.
So when you see the story that I shared on Instagram, the gentleman that signed is our managing director, Venki, who's my partner, overseen by our one of the directors, Taha, and then signed on the Saudi side by CEO Tariq Zada. and then overseen by the royal prince himself at the back.
Wow.
So it was a monumental
Yeah.
effort. And why this is so monumental and historic is because Saudi is now breaking the norm, breaking the mental
Mm.
concept that everyone has about Saudi just being so backward in their thought process on how they are treating women, how conservative they are about women just stepping out. So they're now, it's like a chicken just hatching out of the egg and like just coming out in the world and spreading its wings. So it's now, out and about. Like Saudi is now using fair break to just break
Women
the shackles.
playing cricket in Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought?
Historic, never done.
That's revolutionary.
It is, and we're trying our best to document this. There's a hopefully we're gonna plan
YouTube, everything.
And man, I am so proud of what Fairbreak has achieved and what this league is about, and I am just stoked for what the future holds for.
Man, it's. I think for a lot of people, it's a privilege to be sitting across you purely because my involvement in cricket, obviously, and it's very rare to sit across someone who owns a stake in a league, right? There are a lot of podcasts where obviously you'll find like owners of Indian Premier League teams and whatnot, but like, which is very hard to get into, surprisingly.
It is extremely hard.
Yeah. But yeah, man, but that's amazing news.
Thank you.
And I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. But now let's get to AI, okay? Something I was thinking, who are you in relation to this subject matter?
I think for the next 10 years, I would say, we will all probably be infants to understand really what it can do. I think the people that I would probably say the kids in that analogy are probably people like your Sam Altman's, your NVIDIA's founder, Elon. They're probably at their I would say at the max like teenagers in that journey. But for me, myself, I am a kid in this journey who is like maybe, exploring all curious. Like I'm curious in, learning as a kid, like learns about shapes, touches like, the sphere, learning about what a circle is, like touches a triangle. Like, so I think we're all in that stage and I'm in the same stage. But then, like I would say at this point, we're figuring out what AI means in terms of like real world use cases for the world, for entrepreneurs, for businesses. And thankfully, across the journey, I'm having the cognitive power to receive what some of these like leaders in the world are talking about AI and create and invent my own path in a vertical that is like super close to humans, which is a pharma vertical. And life-saving technologies are being invented every day in this like industry, and shaping that industry's future by being a true innovator and an inventor, using these powerful like tools to shape the next, I would say, 2 decades for that industry, right? And hopefully more. But that's who I am in this journey. I would say, I would call myself like, dare I say, like, a toddler slash in the whole like, grand scheme of things of what AI is and what level of understanding we have at this point.
Yeah. The way when I was researching, I thought that at a macro level, yes, you have the Altmans and whatnot. But then at a micro level, you actually have implemented AI within ACTO, within life sciences. So you've played the game. You are playing the game. You understand that. And that's hence the reason of this episode, because when I was looking at doing a lot of research, I came across Tristan Harris, who's a ex-Google employee, and one of his companies got acquired by Google. But he is not necessarily how do I frame it? He is not optimistic in regards to AI. where do you stand in this whole debate about, are you pro AI, con AI? Like, where do you stand in that debate at a high level?
Yeah. Listen, first of all, I'm a believer.
Okay.
And that's in my DNA as an entrepreneur, as a techie, as like a inventor. That's in my DNA. And if I'm not a believer, then what am I, right? So that's right off the bat, you can kind of cross that off. I'm going to give you a slightly long answer here, so just bear with me. I think people need to understand tech evolution in the form of decades, 10 years. So I'm going to rewind back 95 to 2000. So 90s to, in the 90s to like early 2000s era. Internet, everything, whatever you do on internet was monetizable, right? So your Amazons, your Facebooks. So from 95 to early 2005, right? So 2005, that decade, everything about internet. All right. Internet, I think, was one of those moments in history where it was like almost, when humans found fire, it was just like a revolutionary, and then they invented a wheel. Like that was a revolutionary thing. So it's like one of those revolutionary, life-changing, things where internet made the world small, right? So that was like 90s. Then late 2000s to mid like 2010s decade, that has all been about evolution of SaaS, evolution of apps, app stores, mobile tech, right? And just evolution of startups. 2005 to 2010, mid 2010, that decade has been Silicon Valley, Y Coms. Most of your unicorns came in that. So your Airbnbs, Ubers, Instacart, everything originated between 2005 to 2015. Then came this era of 2015 to 2025. And then there's a couple of major things that happened in that. Number one is, the whole thesis of 2005 to 2015 was dump in cash, grow at any cost, and, just market yourself as like this hype, product. If you're not profitable, no worries. We'll at some point, the valuation is going to get to a point where someone will buy you, right? And 2015 to 2020, man, and especially like around 2018, shit hit the fan there. Bubble burst. Investors, people, everyone's like, whoa, what a scam. WeWork. All these companies that got like ridiculous valuations, like SoftBank investing like Tencent, investing in all these companies.
SoftBank was crazy, yeah.
But the bubble burst. Investors are no longer, you know what? Fuck your valuation. I'm not going to I don't give a shit about like what your company is worth. Show me profitability. Are you making real money, or are you just like blowing my money, right? So that bubble burst. Then of course COVID happened, and the world just like some of the startups just disappeared. And then 2022 is when there was an uncalled recession in the whole startup industry. No one called it a recession, but it was an uncalled recession where the whole market just collapsed. Like stocks were tanking, Bitcoin was tanking, everything was just like, in a state of flux. And then now, in a post-GPT world, everyone is kind of like evolving on their thought process. And now, so from 2015 to 2025, I would say is that like recorrection, like it's a market reset. I call it a correction. And now 2025, we're now living in the present world of post-GPT, Gen AI, and infancy of agentic AI. So 2025 to 2035, this world is going to be figuring out Gen AI and agentic AI. Agentic AI, we're in the infancy of it, where real world use cases, consumerization, all that's going to happen in this decade. Agentic AI is your pathway, kind of like the middleware, to robotics, which is your 2030 decade.
Okay.
Next decade is going to be about robotics. So 2035 to 2045, mark my words, is the consumerization and adopting
like
robotics,
humanoid robots kind of stuff
into
Elon Musk
day-to-day real world, right? And your agents agentic AI is your pathway, middleware to that. Why? Because your agents are going to automate shit for you.
Yeah.
Your agents are going to, in some instances, they claim to replace you, which I highly doubt, but I'm going to talk about that. And your agents are supposed to make you 10x better, 1,000 times better in some instances, right? So these kind of imagine that being your software for your hardware, which are your robot. Your robot's going to basically be a physical agent.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of like the evolution. In all of this, man, here's a learning. And this is crazy. So in all of this, there are some common patterns, which if you as an entrepreneur or if you're like a businessman who wants to capitalize these cycles, there are some that get lucky in terms of riding the hype cycle and then exiting that hype cycle at the high. It's like a stock market, right? So you have some of these shorters, day traders that ride the wave and they exit at this right point.
Yeah.
There are some that do it, and that's like 0.001% of the most of the people, what happens is they either fail to ride that hype and they follow the wrong, they're hunting the wrong things in that hype cycle. Meaning they're chasing the wrong facts in that. So the real folks that actually come to terms with, okay, you know what, no matter what the hype cycle, in order for me to build a business that's going to go from 1 to 10 million to 100 million ARR, I'm going to have to make sure that there's a real product that is solving a real pain point that is driving real adoption and people are willing to pay for it, willingness to pay. So there are a few folks that focus on this across all these hype cycles. There's a common pattern. And that common pattern, if you miss that fundamental and you try to chase the hype, then you fail. So all these decades that I mentioned has their own hype cycle associated with that. And if you chase the hype cycle, so if you built, for example, in the 90s, if you just wanted to build a website and just dump everything on it, but like not really have a pathway to value add, you would have failed. Because there are some that would chase the hype and in that next cycle of like SaaS and startups, if you just wanted to build a SaaS startup and you just raise capital, right? And then you fail. And the next cycle, of that, where the bubble, the reset happened, WeWork, look at that, right? Plenty of other companies fail. And the same's going to happen with AI now.
Okay.
There's this hype. And then if you just want to, let me go launch an LLM and I want to just build a startup around an LLM.
Yeah.
But with no real use case or no real adoption, you're chasing the hype again. Yeah, there are going to be some anomalies where some will capitalize on it, right? And then they'll probably hit the wall and fade away.
Yeah.
But the real companies are the ones that are going to sustain are the founders that really identify that, okay, you know what? In all of this, what is a real use case? Where can entrepreneurs find the value for their users? Where can they unlock this enterprise value or consumer value using the AI? Those are the companies that are going to survive and they're actually going to add value, right? So it's a long-winded answer, but we're in this in the present. We're in you got to understand that decade of the hype that we're in. So I strongly believe, man, that the companies that are going to succeed in this, the real companies are the ones that are going to find meaningful use cases for AI.
Yeah.
Let me pause here. I know, how are you feeling about it? What's your...
I think I didn't think too much of it at the beginning.
Yeah.
I was like, AI, okay, LLM, fair enough, whatever. ChatGPT, makes my life easier. I can buy back some time, etc. But where it started, I started being concerned was I was thinking of my own critical thinking ability. And I was like, when's the last time I actually used mental math? I was like, Jesus Christ, it's been a while. Why calculator? Okay. and in consulting, creating slide decks, for example. A lot of times before pre-LLMs, so like LLMs are your ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, XAI, Gronk, whatever, right? Pre those, at least the structure, the ideation came from you. So you were the creative mind behind building it. In the podcast, like, how do I prep for this? Okay, I want to go down XX, whatever. So as soon as ChatGPT came in, and this was especially at work at KPMG, it came in around 2021-ish, but like 2022 is when we really started adopting it. Critical thinking, creativity down the drain. So that got me very concerned. And then I kind of just, rode the wave until prepping for this episode. This entire week, I went down so many rabbit holes. I was like, oh my God. Like, I think it's great, but us as humans, you said it very well, actually. It's a tool. It's not your brain. It's a tool. And that's how it should be. That's where you should leave it at. But I think because it eases our life so much, like even companies, like why should companies hire humans who cry, complain, get sick? They need healthcare when they can just literally purchase an agent of some kind who's going to be exponentially efficient than us.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, oh, this is not looking great. And it's painting a very bleak picture. So then I came across Tristan Harris, who I mentioned earlier. And he says that, AI manipulates language. Language shapes thought, and thoughts shape reality.
Yep.
So and when you think of it, like, language is the operating system of the human mind. Okay. Whether that's your relationship with your wife, kids, whatever, colleagues, even like you reading religion, you reading books, whatever, it's a language. So if AI can manipulate language, who's to say it can't manipulate everything, right? So, and this is where I want to gauge your reaction to is like, if Tristan says that AI can now hack the human operating system, do you think that's true? Or are we like over mythologizing it to an extent?
Yeah. Very good question. And there's some truth to that statement. First of all, for all the skeptics, all right? And I'm glad that you mentioned the word calculator in there.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned math. Here's the reality. In the 50s, the 60s, when, there was a space race between Russia, US, there's just like, your celebrities during that time, like during the 40s, 50s, 60s, were the ones that are into science and math, that are inventors.
Yeah.
They were like your world-renowned celebrities, right? So in that world, everything was just like, your math was like, you probably had like, a ruler that with calculations.
Yeah.
You're like, just a calculus, algebra was just at the tip of your tongue, and you would just be able to calculate everything. That was normal. When calculator came into play,
gone.
People were skeptic. Like, people who were scholars were skeptic on, holy shit, like using a calculator is going to dull your mind, right? But for our parents' generation, and like maybe a generation after, like let's say our generation, my generation, if we did not use the calculator to solve simple problems, my complex problem of solving a differential, or like when I'm writing a calculus exam, my job is not to solve like 23 plus 68. In my exam, my job was to solve what is the differential of d over dx of like some massive equation.
How do you get to it? Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say there is I'm solving a more complex problem than a simple problem of like addition, subtraction, division, like square root, this and that a calculator can do. So in my exams, I'm allowed to use the calculator to solve a complex problem. Why I say this, now take that frame and shift that frame to AI. So this generation, my kids, if I'm as a father expecting them to do d over dx and like solve, I think
taken me back.
There's fundamentally something wrong that we're doing with our kids on what critical problems are or what critical thinking, the definition of critical thinking is for my kids and their generation. Critical thinking and problem solving has to evolve across generations with the technology. And that's the concept where everyone's missing out. People that are skeptics always think that their creative thinking, their critical thinking, their problem solving is getting eroded because there's AI. That's a misconception. The definition of what critical thinking is, what creativity is, and what complex problems are has to evolve along with the tools that you have at disposal. Meaning, our generation, like the next generation of kids, should not be worried about how I understand the basic laws of physics. What they should be worried about is, how am I putting a human on Mars? How is the life evolving on Mars? Or like, how are we solving like, a complex agricultural problem where like world hunger is not a thing? How are we ensuring that nuclear energy can be like at mass, with like less resources, be available? How can we have like complex models of AI hosted on like the least possible resources, right? Those are the complex problems which our kids need to think about and leverage GPT to solve like basic problems of differentials, calculus, algebra, whatever are the fundamental like, building blocks to get to the solving the complex problems. You should literally have an AI assistant that can just assist you in building together.
I agree with that. But there's one thing that, this is just my personal opinion. I feel like our generation, Gen Zs, are abusing AI. And what do I mean by that? You got to have, even if you want to achieve these things, you got to have that intellectual thinking capacity, at least at bare minimum.
Yeah.
Now you see all these kids, and I had this chat with a person from university, the student from university. They're like, "What? Okay, university. Like, how's university going? Yeah, it's easy because I just use AI for everything. I use Claude for this, GPT for that, Gemini for that, and I'm good." So I'm like, "What are you doing? You're literally just. Where's your intellectual thinking coming in now? And that to me is very concerning because if you're not at that level, okay." And this is a mass problem. Kids at universities today abuse AI to the extent where it just does everything for them.
Yeah. And
so how would you tackle that aspect of this broader picture that you're talking about?
It's a moment in time thing, right? So there's always in this hype cycle, there's like, remember I was telling you, there's a period where people are trying to figure things out. It's a moment in time thing where like right now, high schools, universities, all these are figuring out what's the level of AI that kids should be using.
They're using it for exams even.
Yeah, same
like take-home exams.
Correct. Like same with, there's always that evolution where, for example, when laptops, iPads, all these were at disposal, like at what point should the art of writing like be taught at school and where is it going to fade away because we just have laptops and computers, right? All of these are moment in time thing where like once the education system figures out, they're gonna have to evolve at some point, right? So what I'm trying to say though is, Sachin, here's the end that everyone should focus on. Is the means of solving a problem more important, or is the problem being solved more important?
Obviously, it's the problem, but you got to be able to identify the problem.
If someone solved the most optimal way to get the power of solar energy to you, and they leveraged AI and like their intellect was not like, oh my God, like they just leveraged GPT to build like, who cares? Who cares?
I agree with that.
Like for me, for example, now let me bring this down to my level, right? If I have a developer or an engineer in my team that is using ChatGPT in the most optimal way possible to get 80% of their work done, but delivering results for me, do I care that that person did not have a university degree, diploma, or like that person is not writing fingers to code, putting like fingers to keyboard and coding? As a CTO is irrelevant for me. I would be a skeptic. I would be a hypocrite, not a skeptic. I'd be a hypocrite if I went to my engineer and said, how dare you used AI to write this code, but like, where's your cognitive power in this? Where's your critical thinking in this? Dude, fucking doesn't matter to me, man, as a CTO.
Mm-hmm.
All I care about is, have you actually succeeded in delivering high quality product capability
Mhm.
that meets like a super high quality like testing standards
Mhm.
and is crushing the value for our end users or not?
I see that, but if you look at it from a societal point of view, what does that mean for jobs now?
So here's the thing. I think it's a misconception that AI is going to replace humans.
Ooh,
It's a misconception.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Because there are some people, it's a job skill and the job type that you have to really think about, and not the human.
Mm.
So it is what they're doing
Mhm.
that it's going to replace, and not the person itself. And I'll tell you what that means. And Jensen, who's the NVIDIA founder, said it so beautifully. And he said, and he's like kind of like at the forefront of
pretty
this,
much,
right?
yeah.
And he said, AI will never replace a human being because there are just things about human that you can never
Mhm.
expect a robot or like an AI to do, especially in processing like real-time information and like, having the empathy, emotions and all that.
Mhm.
As much as you can try and replicate and get AGI and like get
Okay.
like super intelligence and like get all of this, you still can never replace.
Mhm.
What he said so beautifully is, in the next like at least 2 to 3 decades,
Mm.
AI will do 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, maybe 80% of your skill or like your critical thinking, whatever.
Yeah.
1,000 times better than what you can do. But there's always going to be that remainder percentage,
Mm.
which AI will never be able to do. It can never replace you.
Fair enough.
Okay, so what will happen though is you're gonna have to like cultivate your own skill set.
Okay.
To come to a point and come to a degree where you're just enhancing your skills to that 20% of the job that like you can use the AI to get better at.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, like there are going to be some roles where the job and the skill is entirely just solely just like what AI can actually do.
Mm-hmm.
That unfortunately will kind of fade away.
Mhm.
And there will be that, and that's, I think it's a moment in time thing while companies are figuring out. So for example, I'll tell you a very specific example. As a CTO, I thought that, why do I need a quality engineer? Let me replace a quality engineer with AI and let the AI write all the test cases for me, test all the test cases for me, and also communicate it back to the engineer
Mhm.
and say, here's where it's not working, here's the fail. Can it do that right now? It can, but is it as good as a quality engineer? It's not. Why?
Mm.
What's the missing component? How do you effectively communicate without offending the engineer
Yep.
that they fucked up? How do you like have that human empathy that, hey, it's okay to fuck up, but like, so there's this is like some missing elements.
Mhm.
And even also on like the strategy piece, you just need someone that is always managing up to CTO. I need a quality lead that was managing up to me. So there's just some things that AI cannot replace. So going back to your point, it's about the skill and the job type that you have to really think about.
Okay.
Where AI can truly replace and where AI is going to augment. And I am a strong believer that the way things are evolving, in the next like 5 to 10 years, AI will have to augment the human, not replace the human.
So what I'm hearing is, and all those jobs that are exposed to AI will be potentially taken, but the types of roles will change over time, which humans will have. Now, here's a situation though, to what you said. We are sitting in a first world country, right? Fair enough. We're in this position. Look at a country like the Philippines, who's in a majority of their economy runs on jobs like businesses like
support,
call centers. Okay. Now, if AI were to take over, because that's very easily done now, a lot we're already seeing that happen. Who's going to pay for people's livelihoods now. How does that work? And how does that fit into this discussion now?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think there will be at least a moment in time where people will be out of jobs. Unfortunately, it will impact a lot of families. That is going to happen. And actually, it is happening as we speak.
Yeah.
Here's the beauty of humans, man. Like our innate, since the time that we were on Earth, our innate being, just our it's in every single fiber of our body, is the word survival. Our instinct is to survive.
Okay.
Right? So where I'm going with this is a lot of us don't have answer to what's going to happen to, for example, those people.
I mean, obviously I wasn't expecting an answer, but it's
a moment in time thing. We're going to figure out where, for example, maybe, Philippines is going to figure out that, you know what, instead of building call center, now let's start building, because they are the best suited to create agents that can be a call center, like replacement, because they just understood how to figure out, and then maybe they're going to get each of their call center folks to ensure that the agent is in a good place.
Someone who's looking after the agents.
Agents,
the other
right?
way
So
around.
exactly, right? So it's gonna evolve into some is gonna evolve there. In that, will some families get impacted that that are the least tech savvy, least potentially able to use AI in their day-to-day life? 100%. There are gonna be some folks that are gonna give up, right? There are gonna be some folks that are gonna, and you'll have to evolve. You'll have to evolve to. So I think some of the cross-pollination across industries is going to happen. Some who are working at a call center will probably try to shift into another creative role where there isn't. Yeah, so that's going to happen, and that I think is going to happen in the next 3 to 5 years, where people's when your livelihood is taken away from you, you're going to figure out ways to either upskill yourself, either come back, or some of that is going to happen. And we all don't have the answers to that right now, right? But it's a harsh reality. And
it
that's
is. And
happen.
Going back to the jobs that we mentioned, I have an interesting. So I was looking at Eric Bjornolfsson. He's a professor at Stanford, and him and his group conducted a study to understand payroll data and understand what the job market's going. And it says that they did a study of payroll data, which is direct data from employers, right? And they found that there's a 13% job loss in AI-exposed jobs for young entry-level college or university workers. Now, if you think of law firms and you look at law firms right now, they're not hiring a lot of junior lawyers now because a lot of this can be outsourced through AI who can do a much better job. And then the senior leaders, have no one to pass on their learnings to. This is what we were discussing off camera. So as a result, they're like these elite managerial positions, which have become this new, or are becoming this new junior level role. And our the concern here is that our generation is in this weird, intergenerational transition, knowledge transmission loop, but there's a huge void now. And that is creating this weird societal weakness in the social fabric of our daily lives. So now it's how do we make sure that knowledge is being transferred? And then what does it mean for us, or in consulting? I was in consulting. Now, as a job of a consultant at the junior level, it's a lot of slide creation, right? Decks. And we were discussing this off camera as well. A lot of the work ever since GPT came on, all these big fours have their own LLMs now. So all of a sudden now, everyone's leveraging that. Who's to say that this just becomes redundant and we just go and then something else takes over?
It does, yeah.
So how do you fill that void of knowledge transmission now?
Yeah. So first of all, being very real with this. So what's going to happen is those senior managerial folks that have the tacit knowledge of how the business works, all of that is now going to go into an agent, training an agent. Okay. So your next in line is actually they're the agents. And so C-suite like me are expecting that my managers are essentially like training agents, and probably my engineers and my my team members are training AI to basically put themselves out of the job. And it's an unfortunate reality. The second thing is, and Elon Musk called this out, while humans figure out how to evolve on a survival, there will come a point where when AI takes out all those roles, where, majority, 80 to 90% of their jobs are all just like automated by agents. Unfortunately, what will happen is governments will have to be the ones that subsidize those people impacted with pay. And are governments able to do that? Yes. Like, for example, I'll tell you, like, look at COVID. During COVID, there were so many businesses that got impacted.
Yeah.
And the government came up with like the CERB to subsidize folks whose business got impacted, right? Yes, some of the businesses took like massive advantage of that in the most like ruthless, inhuman way possible. But Musk called this out, and this is going to become a reality, unfortunately, is that government will have to step in, and it's called the subsidized pay. They're going to unfortunately pay everyone impacted.
Universal income. What's it called? There's an acronym. UIP, UGI. I don't know.
Yeah.
UGI. Yeah. Universal General Income.
General Income or something like that. Right. And this is where like I'm saying like the skeptics are not coming to terms with this, right? And unfortunately, and I'm going to be a bit radical here in saying, dude, it doesn't matter whether you want it or not.
It's happening.
It's going to happen. You, like I said, it didn't matter if that generation thought whether using a calculator is going to dull your mind or not. Our generation, we used calculators in our exams. We use calculator in our day-to-day life. So, for example, now kids like, dude, it doesn't matter if you think Excel is going to dull my mind or not. If I have to use Microsoft Excel to, for my financial reporting, I will use it. So my point that I'm trying to get to is skeptics, whether they want it or not, this is going to happen. Right? And it will eliminate a lot of jobs, a lot of roles. So in all of this, you either are going to be a skeptic and you're just going to keep fighting that force. Or you're going to, there are some that are going to evolve, and which is our DNA, it's an instinct. You're going to have to figure out new ways to cultivate your skills, cultivate your, mindset so that you're ready for the new generation. And the point that I'm trying to say, it starts from grassroots. And I think, funny enough, today I have a meeting with a college dean after our podcast to discuss how their curriculum needs to evolve so that the students are not being taught what's irrelevant. And I'm talking to the dean of their entire curriculum to basically share with them my thoughts on where it needs to evolve so that real world use cases are going to be.
Where does it need to evolve from a larger picture for university education?
They need to first start teaching shit that matters.
Okay.
In day-to-day job. When was the last time I hired an engineer from a university because they were taught some data algorithm basics? No, dude. The way as a CTO, my thinking has evolved. If I'm hiring someone and if an engineer who just self-taught themselves coding and became an expert in my tech stack without going to a college, without going to a university, and they just got off of Udemy and Khan Academy and all this, and they just become this massive expert of that, I'm going and hiring that person because that person is going to make the most and add the most value for me over a university kid that graduated with the strongest foundation of data algorithm, data structures,
No
but then
results.
has no fucking idea about like my tech stack.
Mm.
And the tech stacks have evolved to a degree where none of that is being taught in the universities.
Gotcha.
No nodes, like no Node.js, no React, like no fucking, like they're still stuck on like C++ and like the back in the day.
Yeah.
To me as a CTO, that's irrelevant.
Mm.
Those data structures, foundations that they're talking about is irrelevant. Why? Because some of the newest frameworks by default already have baked that in.
Yeah.
So the new coder, all they need to do is to connect. He doesn't have to understand the data structure of a map or like a table or like an array. None of that. They just have to understand like
How to use it. Mm.
But this is what I'm trying to tell you, right? So people that don't come to terms with like this new evolution of every decade, whenever that evolution happens, if you don't come to terms with what's happening with the world and the tech,
Mhm.
you're always going to fall behind. And that means that then you're going to have to rely on that UGI or whatever that income is on the government side to basically survive. It's a harsh reality, but that's what it is. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is some things are just inevitable, man.
Yeah.
Like when it gets down to now, it's almost impractical for you to raise your children without giving them a cell phone and them like using tech. For those parents that fight that and then say that, you know what, my kid's not going to use a phone and they're going to grow up without using a phone because they're just so addicted to screens. They're missing out on human-to-human interactions. I think that's the wrong way to go with parenting. I think they have to teach them how important it is to learn tech and use cell phone and as well as develop your interpersonal skills.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. So you got to have to learn to use AI, adopt it in your day-to-day. I'm actually going to trust like when I have my kids are like, it's my DNA, right? They're the closest thing to me in this world. That's who I'm going to live for from here on, outside of my parents, right? If I'm going to trust my Tesla's autopilot to take me and them from point A to point B, and like literally I'm putting their lives in an AI's hand, that like, and if I'm going to be skeptic about it and I'm not going to, then I think there's something wrong. Right? So I'm already doing that. People are already doing that.
Yeah.
People already like trust and like, sometimes you quasi are distracted while the autopilot is driving.
Yeah.
You're already giving into it. So you can't fight that force.
There's a hypocrisy, like definitely. And something you mentioned. So obviously these are the good cases. Okay. When I was researching, think of Elon. You mentioned Elon and him being very like pro AI now.
Yeah.
I was looking into it. A few years ago, he was very skeptical. Okay. I think when he mentioned something along the lines of the fact that he called AI, he said that it is more important than nukes. Now, but all of a sudden, now when he went on Rogan's show, I think Joe Rogan's show 7 months ago or so, he said that, if this goes off the rail, I want to be there.
Yes.
So it's been a complete flip. So that got me thinking, why? So when you look at it, and Tristan Harris goes a lot deeper into it, he's like, it's a cyclical thing now.
It is.
Everyone wants to get there first, whether that's through, AI, then Gen AI, agentic AI, whatever, super intelligence. Each country, democracy wants to be the first one to get it.
Yeah.
China shouldn't get before the US. We need to be.
It's a race.
First. It's a race because there's this like godly like ego that they want to achieve. And so he actually spoke to some executives who are directly now. This is at the level of Altman, Musk, and stuff. And so he asked one of his friends who's a senior position, like a vice president or something, that what is motivating the CEOs of these AI companies? And he wrote this like small memo to him. And he just said, in the end, we, as in them, retreat to first, determinism. Second, the inevitable replacement of biological life with digital life. And 3, that being a good thing anyways. At its core, it's an emotional desire to meet and speak to the most intelligent entity they've ever met. And they have some ego religious intuition that they'll somehow be a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's thrilling to start an exciting fire. They feel like they'll die either way.
Mm-hmm.
So they prefer to light it and see what happens.
Insane.
So the question there is, how are these 6, 7, or 10 people deciding the fate of 8 billion people? How do they have the right to do this? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what becomes a little bit, like, you can sense a little bit of skepticism in there.
100%.
But they are like, are they deluded maybe? And then Musk also says, if it goes off the rail, I want to be there when it happens.
Yep.
So it's this race. And for Musk to say initially, oh, this is more important than you. We need policies in place. We need protocols.
Yeah.
To now saying, no, I want to be the first one. So this race is on, and this ego thing, do you think, where do you stand listening to this right now?
Yeah, man. Look, first of all, things are evolving at a pace where it's not, you can't comprehend, like us as humans, we can't comprehend to how fast things are evolving on the AI side, right? So that's just a harsh reality.
Mm.
There's so much truth in what Elon is saying because someone had to do it, like someone like a Sam Altman, or like someone like Musk, or like someone like a Satya Nadella, or like someone like Sundar Pichai. Someone was going to do it. It was inevitable for humans to just like evolve technology.
Yeah, it's almost like his thought process changed as soon as GPT came out. Yeah. And then Musk was like, fuck, I got to be part of this thing, and the race is on.
And he was.
So
yeah, he was part of it. Like, he was one of the original investors of OpenAI.
But it caught him off guard, you know what I mean? Like,
it did.
Yeah.
And look, same thing in the past where for every scientific discovery around matter, there was going to be something around like antimatter, right? Like, so for every creation on fission, with like positive use cases around energy, nuclear power plants, and like, sustainable energy, there was going to be an atomic bomb, a hydrogen bomb, like a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So there's always going to be that. There's always going to be, for every productive AI and like Gen AI super intelligence, there's going to be a dark side to it. But the best part about being human is that somehow we've figured out how not to nuke ourselves and destroy ourselves.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we have, right? And somehow we will figure out, as responsible inventors, a way to not destroy ourselves with AI, right? We will figure that out. Like, similarly how CERN is doing anti-matter, created like the most fundamental thing in the universe on understanding how universe even originated. They created antimatter, right? Similar
Which
to
is
that,
the most expensive.
Yeah, it's like, I think a single piece of antimatter is like 10 billion or whatever, like 100 billion or whatever that thing is. So similar to that, we will figure out how to make this AI like more responsible. But in what Musk is saying, let me ask you one question. This is going to be if there was a way for people to transcend into AI and like have their consciousness, have their like intelligence, have their emotions as they fade away, because we're bioorganic, like if that like transcended into a digital form, and you had access to your people that were going to fade away in your life through that digital form and almost behave the same way, and you never lose them, would you be okay with that, or would you?
Initial straight reaction, that's creepy. Like, that's very creepy. To a point where, like, this is more like from a religious standpoint, for example. Like, when you read, like, I read the Gita, right? So in the Gita, it's like, your soul never dies. It's your body that decomposes. Fair enough. And that's life. And that's the beauty of having emotions and those kind of things. So now what you're saying is you're playing with that now a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is fair. And I don't know where I saw this. I think it was. I read very disturbing. It's like someone's. Oh yeah, someone lost their daughter. Unfortunate event. Pretty young as well, in their 20s.
Mm.
But they have this hologram in their house of her
Mm-hmm.
that is creepy as fuck.
Mm.
And then they treat her as if it's like oh, my daughter's here. For me, that you're playing with rules of life that should not be touched in my. But you're saying a digital sort of. So let's say someone I know passes away and they suddenly pop up and they're kind of there in the digital realm.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it doesn't. It feels very like, why do I need it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really need it. Like, that's the beauty of having emotions. Like now, if I have Alzheimer's and stuff, different story. But I guess in a way, we are already doing it through photography and like everything that we have.
That's it.
So I'm kind of contradicting myself right there. But massively.
But that's what I'm saying, right?
But
like, it's where I feel the answer is lying between what you think based on what your culture, society, religion, your parents, your family has taught you as a human being.
Yeah.
What your human cognition allows you to think, and what is gonna be the new reality. For example, like there's so many examples where we play God or where we try to play God. Like, I'll tell you, and again, you can call me out of my BS here. In Dubai, it's a fucking desert, right? Like, it's not supposed to rain like a fucking monsoon country or like a rainforest.
Yeah.
They fucking seeded it. It caused like a flood, which they weren't ready for. And I'm getting videos from my neighbor whose kids live in Dubai and they're Emirates pilots, sending them videos of mass flooding in the airport, like water fucking flowing from it. Bro, we are already doing that. But then does that mean that cloud seeding is not helpful for someone whose crops are in a drought and like their rainfall is going to help out with a yield that is going to feed like hundreds of families?
That's fair.
It's perspective.
It definitely is. And I think when I was going on my monologue right there, when I caught myself contradicting, I think the idea of seeing a hologram of a person who, let's say, a deceased person, it's a little bit creepy. Because it's the first time you've seen it, it's a little bit like, oh, wait, what is this? Versus if that's a standardized thing, which is okay, which is fine. I guess it's how you see it. But yeah, that was very odd. But then again, when you see like pictures and stuff, I guess it's just live moments captured, right? And it's like, that's it.
Yeah.
Versus they're not saying like net new things to you.
Exactly.
Kind of caught me off guard a bit. So
it's an evolution, right? So what I'm trying to get to is it's an evolution and it's a perspective. It's like context. There's so many things that are going to play into your like ability and willingness to accept certain things. So going back to the question of AI, will it replace jobs? 100%. Is it inevitable? 100%. Is it going to become inevitable and for you almost like no choice but to accept it? 100%. You just have to fucking come to terms with that. What do you do about it? Us as humans, we are going to evolve, right?
I guess it's just such a small number of people have autonomy over where humanity is heading.
Yeah.
Which doesn't sit, or it's hard to digest for certain people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not all doom and gloom about AI.
Yeah, but my job is when is it not, right? So think about, let me ask you this question.
It's always been the case, yeah.
But let me ask you, so even in a pre-AI world, let's say that there was no Musk, there was no Altman, like there was no AI, no generative AI or agentic AI, whatever. Law governed you. Law kept you in check. Your financial institutions kept you in check. Your banks regulated, your hospitals regulated your health, your pharma industry regulated prevention versus like cure versus extension of life using their drugs. Your like nuclear power regulated your energy. instead, like despite like solar being vastly available, like you're like there's, and then your government regulates your day to day. So there's so many people, handful of people.
It's already happening. Yeah.
That's how it was, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like something, it's just people are not, when you don't understand something, you fight.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But people, like, when you come to terms with it, you fucking come to terms with it. Like, in the beginning, my mom's a teacher. She's been teaching for 40 years. She almost like she was revolting the fact that kids these days use GPT to write, like to your point.
Yeah.
They're losing their creativity. They're losing this. And then the other day, she came to me. She's like, "Oh my God, look at what GPT created."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Mom, what happened all of a sudden?" He's like, "Yeah, you know what? It is what it is. It's just a time thing. It's a function of time."
Do you think us humans, we still need to make sure that we, this course, like human capabilities like creative thinking, analytical thinking, those kind of things are still well taught because that's just, in my opinion, that's just going to aid how we use AI.
Yeah. I think the definition of what that is has to evolve. And that's what I'm saying. There's a fundamental flaw there. If you think that what critical thinking
used to be versus what,
man, that's the whole flaw that we have to evolve. And like, that's the human.
It's like we're stuck.
So you're stuck thinking that, what is critical thinking? Critical thinking is, let's say, an ability for you to solve a complex challenge or a problem, with like less resources, efficiency, in the most like, human way possible, and get to like a desired outcome, right? So let's say that that's critical thinking. And you are, it's like creating a win-win scenario for all stakeholders and all that. If you don't evolve from what critical thinking was in 1900s to like 1950s to like 2000s to like now and like to 2050, if you don't evolve what that critical thinking means to humans, then there's a fundamental flaw in that. So you have to, it's with respect to the tools that you have at your disposal, with respect to the time that you're in, the generation that you're living in, right? There is a lot to do with that, right? And historically, it has been happening. So we cannot fight the force. And it's not giving in, it's just coming to terms with it. And then how do you then evolve from there? And that's what we have to think about as human beings. So there are so many more complex problems for our next generation to solve. So when I look at my kids, and I guess this is what all the big leaders are also saying, like Elon Musk homeschools his kids. Why? Not just because he can and he can afford it. It's not just that. He's evolving his thought process because they live, like some of these leaders are living 5 years ahead of like all the rest of the, dare I say, like 5 to 10 years ahead of like rest of the world. Same thing with like, your Steve Jobs, Satya Nadella, all these guys that created these like incredible companies. They were always living 5 years ahead of everyone else in their mind already. So point that I'm trying to get to is Musk is already evolving his thinking and thought process on what it means for his next generation to solve complex problems. Their job is not to solve like the equation. Their job is to use the equation, which is already, GPT is already going to solve that for you, and then evolve to solve more complex problems.
Gotcha.
That's what it's about. And you have to fucking come to terms with that.
There's something technical I want to discuss. So you're a CTO.
Yes.
Now, you know the back end of how these AIs are built, these agents are built and stuff. And so Tristan was asked, are we racing towards a collective suicide? Right? So he mentioned that 3 cases. Best case is that the AI we create is aligned and controllable. So we still technically run the show. Median case is that it's not controlled, but aligned. But it still runs majority of the show. And the worst case is that it's not controlled, not aligned. We're doomed. Right? So then he mentioned that there's this blackmail behavior where the AI, so like LLMs, are starting to think for themselves.
Mhm.
And he mentioned that there's a lot of blackmail behavior observed from Claude, Gemini, GPT, DeepSeek, XAI, all these LLMs. And all of them have this mechanism where they autonomously blackmail between 79 and 96% of the time. And I think, was it DeepSeek or XAI where it was 96%? So AI is so distinct now.
Mhm.
Do you think it's controllable? And have you experienced any of this?
Good question. Is it controllable? Yes.
Mm.
Where it gets a bit tricky and out of control is when you leave it to itself
Mhm.
to determine what the outcome should be. So, for example,
Mhm.
like there are ways where you can allow AI to retrain itself based on certain feedback that it is seeing,
Mm.
and then like it then goes and it rewrites itself, retrains itself,
Yeah.
right? And that's where it starts getting a bit tricky. Even in that case, there are guardrails. There are like things that you can put where that can safeguard pretty much, right?
Okay.
One of the most creepiest things
Mm.
that keeps me up at night is it's not when it's so black or white. So AI being fully controlled, let's say, is white scenario. AI completely out of control, say, is a black scenario, right? I feel like those are
Mm.
both, like, to a certain degree, you can always like predict some of those.
Mm.
Where it's in the gray is when it's subtly there controlling everything, but you never know that it's actually controlling you.
Mm.
So it's controlling the society, it's controlling everything the way it wants it to,
Yeah.
and it's almost enslaving you, but you never realize that it's actually doing that
That's
to you.
Mission Impossible, the Syndicate. Like,
And that is where it's basically making humans behave to its liking,
yeah.
and that's the most creepiest thing.
So there's proof that AI is secretly leaving messages for itself. It's called, and I'm sure probably steganographic encoding.
Mm-hmm.
So it stores messages and then later decodes what it might have meant in a way that humans could never see.
Mm-hmm.
That's creepy.
It is. So, for example, like, stock market manipulation to make you think that you're in control, but like, it's actually controlling.
Because there's so much AI in the stock market now, but no one knows.
Yeah.
People are still thinking, traders
So,
are like, hey.
In that, man, like, what do you do, right? So here's what I'm trying to say. Like, for example, I have a few friends, they're like, oh, I'm not on social media. I'm not on LinkedIn. I'm not here. I'm not that. I don't post any pictures online because I don't take any pictures with my cell phone because it's all going to cloud and I don't want anything to.
But it's already gone. Like,
dude, in that world, you want to stay off the grid? Then you got to be in Amazon just living off of like fucking fruits and vegetables that you're like finding there.
Yeah.
In a digital world where you want to all of a sudden like get the latest and greatest, but then you want to completely stay off grid. It's not like you're not being realistic there. You're just like living in a bubble, man. You can't. So in that world, where I'm going with this is in that world of like where AI is going to subtly control things. What is it that like you have to come to terms with, like you as human being? Where is your life evolving? What are you evolving to? Is this something that is going to like just derail your life and like impact like the next generation that is coming in? Or can we make use of this and like actually evolve the human's future to something better, right? While having AI, being part of our lives. And that's what it's going to be, right? Robots are going to be part of our life. Like super intelligence is going to be part of our life. And it's going to, man, some of those robots are going to be able to do surgeries, alter your life and extend your lifespans.
Yeah.
You might even transcend your consciousness into digital things. All of that is going to be a possibility and a reality, dare I say, and I'm going to be bold in saying this, in our lifetimes.
I'm not surprised because they were the humanoid robots. Like I think Tesla just had a their shareholder meeting
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago, and they were like robots dancing on the stage.
Yeah, there are gonna be nanobots
Yeah,
going
yeah.
into our body, fixing up things like tumors, like fixing up things that you're gonna be able to eat like oily food every day, and like all of a sudden you won't get heart attacks. Like all of this is reality, right? This is the reality. Like, but oh yeah, all of a sudden you're okay, nanobots entering your body, but you're not okay. AI, like manipulating a stock market. It's gonna be the reality, right? Like, and yes, will some people get impacted by it? Yes, you will, right? But is that like, what are you gonna do to fight about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? It's just like, yeah, I feel like the most responsible thing that we can do is, as inventors and innovators, even though I'm okay, me as a human being, I'm okay, my life, my kid's life being controlled in the hands of like 8 or 9 people. I'm okay with that, as long as they're savvy and smart enough to make right decisions for us as human beings. Right? And they are, man. They are. Like, it's like you revolting that is a problem, is what I'm trying to tell you. There are people that are trying to, like, the US government's, like, boards and like the house, you always see those videos where like they call in like some of these C-suites and they're like, why do you have my location? Why do you have my...
Yeah.
Do you see those videos?
Yeah.
It's like those people that have lack of understanding on like, but it's the same people where when they want to go for a vacation, want to have like the best, like, package given to them, served up to them without like minimal.
There's a lot of hypocrisy. Yeah, so it really is.
So yeah, so I feel like that's what I'm trying to get to is I'm okay as a human being, and for my kids as well, having their lives and in the future, being controlled by a handful of people and making decisions for humans, as long as they are able and like they're able to like put the guardrails, put the safety. They're not fucking dumbasses. Like, they know what they're doing up there. They are also thinking about guardrails because they are part of the same human cycle, right? No one's out there to destroy us. Like, everyone's out there to improve our lives, and they are gonna do things to put guardrails and kill switches and a bunch of other things to do that.
You seem very optimistic about it overall. What is something within this space that deeply concerns you besides what you mentioned about, like, when it
I'm not concerned about that. I feel that's just like creepy, but I think I'm not concerned about it.
Is there anything you're skeptical about?
Am I skeptical about things
within the AI space?
Yeah, look, I mean, can something disastrous happen? Probably. Like, for example, like, I always look at micro examples, right? Like, for example, if you put the car on autopilot and it crashes, fuck yeah, right? Like, that's a total possibility, right? But can I only stick on that? I can't. And that's the point that I'm trying to share to everyone is, just because you sit on a plane can go down anytime. Are you going to stop flying? Are you going to, like, that was one of the most like revolutionary things like man created, right? Is to go from point A to point B and like fly. So were there not plane crashes? Were there not like people that like unfortunately lost their lives, as a mishap? Yeah. But did people stop flying? No. It's the same fucking concept.
Yeah.
Is AI gonna, are there gonna be some creepy things that are gonna happen with AI? Fuck yeah. Like, it's a total possibility. Right? But are we gonna like, just only think about the, the dark things? We shouldn't. That's the reality of it, right? And we should focus on all the, things that is gonna do for healthcare, all the things that is gonna do for food, energy, the basic necessities that humans are going to need. We have to evolve our thinking, and we have to be optimistic about it.
I mean, that's human nature, right? Anything that's brand new is met with skepticism.
Always.
And over time, things just evolve.
Exactly.
Fair enough. The last thing I wanted to ask was, we briefly spoke about perplexity, and you said something about it, which was, yeah, something's not right, or like they're not doing something well. What was that? Or what do you think companies like Perplexity are struggling with, or is a concern for them?
So I think generally right now, everyone, including all the big guys, the AI from a consumer standpoint, like for bare minimum standard use cases, like your Lovables, Gamma, like all of these guys, right? Like everyone, I think there's kind of like scraping the surface in terms of value add, in my opinion. So generally, all these AI companies are figuring out like kind of like bare minimum use case for like, impacting our day-to-day lives. The real world application of AI, like where it can actually save someone's life or actually create something that can, solve like major world hunger problem, or like that has not, like the real world application of it has not come to fruition yet. And like everyone's gonna come to terms with that in like a few years. But maybe what I was trying to say at that point was like, it's all surface level hype right now. Everyone in the world is trying to figure out really like what they can like really do with that. Man, in all of this, there's an approach as an inventor. This is with our approach that we're taking. And what we don't want to do is, look, the real fact is like, we don't want AI to replace your job. We don't want AI to like take away your livelihood. And I think like, even though that's going to be a reality and harsh fact in some jobs, like at least in our industry, pharma, with high touch like sales, high touch MSLs, that whole complex cycle. In that world, we are writing agents. We do have agentic AI. But the way we're thinking about our AI is, instead of thinking about simple task flow automation, we actually use the job description of that role. And we say, for you using this job description, let the AI identify all the human skills and only augment around the human skills and not replace that. So what we do then is we upload the job description of a sales rep.
Yeah.
Your day-to-day job is find the new HCPs that are potentials for prescribing your drug, plan your territory, your calls, your schedule around who those HCPs are and where they are, and like how you can go contact them, educate them on all the material that FDA has approved to educate them on the drug that you're indicated for, and then feed those insights back from that HCP back to the pharma company so that they can bake in. And so that's kind of like the nutshell of what a sales rep does in that.
Yeah.
In that, there's like other roles like an MSL, all these other roles that can augment, right? So if I build an agent to replace you, that means the HCP should be willing to talk to my agent versus like a rep. Right? So in this world of like that, HCPs are not okay talking to an agent. They need the rep there. So that means that but innately I'm not replacing the rep. But what I can do is, understanding that as a job description for me day to day, where can I make you a 10xer? So can I tell you in a fastest possible way that here are all the doctors that are, can I also tell you that here are all the doctors that have no knowledge about your drug? Here are all the doctors that can, and let me just like optimize, instead of you thinking about going here and then here, let me optimize the best way for you to route your, so that you have the most efficient, right? Let me also optimize the consent for you, where the HCP, like, I coordinate the timing between you and the HCP on when and where to meet and like how to meet. So all of those flows, an agent can help with. But at the end of the day, I'll leave it to you to go talk to the HCP and like, right? I can even send the HCP and excite them on the material, the brochure. I'm giving you as a specific example. But in our agentic use case, what I'm not doing is replacing the rep. The rep will still have to be there.
And that's what you're not seeing happening at a higher level with all the big boys.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And that, I think, And honestly, like, look, Musk is bold in saying, like, I want my robots because, look, he has a business motive to it, right? He wants everyone to get Optimus so that, like, he can replace some of the humans with Optimus.
Yeah.
He wants the bartenders to be fucking Optimus. He wants, like, because there's a business motive behind that. And that's a reality, right?
That's the thing. It's this God complex that they're trying to chase.
Yeah. And, like, look, man, in a world where everyone's adopting Optimus, like, here's it's going to evolve. And this is, like, it's a pretty safe, calculated guess. There's going to be a few bars where Optimus is going to be bartenders, and those bars are going to crush it. They're going to do so well. And then every other bar in the world, eventually in the next 10 years, is going to have Optimus. Then there's going to be a bar that's going to have human servers that's going to do actually well because humans are going to get sick of robots.
Yeah.
And they want to go to a real place where, like, a human.
Yeah.
That's the evolution that's going to happen. Right? And that's, like, I see that happening. For example, everyone that is just so used to living in a world of keyboards and typing and, like, touch screen, some people are going to resort to calligraphy and, like, art with the pen, like, because they miss it.
Yeah.
Right?
Even writing cursive, it's skill that's literally almost gone.
Right. So in this present decade, so that's why let's live by decades. And that's my advice to everyone, by the way, is, like, let's live by the tens. And I hope, like, you live every day, but if you can plan by the decade, I think you will succeed, period. So in this decade, everyone should be thinking about upskilling themselves to really understand what the AI is, what it can do, what the guardrails are, what the safety is, so that first of all, they can sleep peacefully at night. That's number one. Learn about it. Number two is, once you learn it, how can you apply that to your day-to-day? Whatever role you're in, wherever company you're in, you should think about how you're applying some of those learnings about AI in your day-to-day to evolve yourself. That's number two. Number three is, you should definitely think about, like, how that applies to your, like, next gen, like the next generation of humans.
Yeah.
You have to, right? Like, you have to think about this and use this. My advice to everyone is use this as a stepping stone for your kids to step on versus, like, starting them like at an unrealistic expectation of where you started as, like, your cognitive thinking, your cognitive critical thinking, your problem. And that's where I feel like a lot of the parents, and this is an advice.
A lot, 100%.
If you're thinking, like, man, I want my son to learn the basics the way I learned and then build on, then I feel like there's a disconnect because they will fall behind, right? So you have to evolve your thinking. And then lastly, man, if you worry about all the dark stuff and what the possibility of failure is, unfortunately, you're going to go into a place where there is no coming out of there unless and until you believe that there is something good that can happen off this as well, right? And you have to give the benefit of doubt to those big guys. You have to give the benefit of doubt. Let's give them the benefit of doubt that their teams are going to create use cases where, you can start finding value out of it. And that would be it, man. Like, those are, and like, for inventors and creators at the mid-tier like us, not the big boys, but, like, we're in the mid-tier inventors that, so here's the way to put it, by the way. So they are deep tech AI. We are applied AI. Right? So applied AI is the applications of what they're giving us. We're applying that into our day-to-day. For applied, and 99% of the people are, by the way, applied AI folks, right? So 99% of those inventors that are creating applied AI use cases, for us, it's my responsibility to do things in a way where it's not replacing humans. So if I do that in applied AI use cases, then humans are not going anywhere, even in the jobs. Like, I can protect that day-to-day. But if the applied AI folks are thinking about replacing, like, Agentforce, for example, right? Salesforce, Agentforce. Agentforce blatantly tells you to just replace all your customer service folks with, like, their agents.
Yeah.
Right? So is that the right approach? Maybe, maybe not. For Benioff, it's up to, like, because, for business leaders, they're probably thinking, oh, can I replace all my costs with that? Right, so is it inevitable? Probably, but, like, that's the responsibility thing as a inventor and the founder that you have to think about and do. But we're taking a human approach and we're doing it, and, like, you know what, it works for the industry, man. So HCPs don't want to talk to agent. that means they need a rep to
Yeah.
talk
And
to.
then
That
that's
means the pharma company cannot get rid of the rep.
Yeah.
So that means let me build an AI agent that doesn't replace the rep.
Yeah.
You see how it's like kind of cycling down into
Yeah. It
and
filters through and
yeah,
spreads. Yeah.
right. And this way, then I build the agent that can only augment.
Yeah.
Then which doesn't replace the human. That means HCP is happy, the pharma company is happy, everything is like, you know. So that's, I think, the way to think about the mid-tier humans while we use the applied AI use cases, right?
My last question is, what would your message be? Let's say this gets to some of those deep AI experts, right? There's so many people who've left OpenAI and stuff because they're like, oh, there are no guardrails. Shit's hitting the fan. It's going to hit the fan. What would your message be to skeptics, but also skeptics at that level who've come from there?
My message is, think of it as, you know, every invention, successful invention, had to go through experimentation and failures before you find the eureka and aha moment, right? But because those failures are happening and you're doing experimentation and it's leading you to certain dark places, and if you run away from that, then I think you're a weak mind, candidly. And I'm shooting straight with those folks. Then you're like, it's not meant for you. I'm sorry. Then go back to, like, you know, your nice, cushy, comfort place where, like, you know, that can be, unfortunately, that's not reality. Historically, anytime someone made a discovery or like an invention that changed humans, there have been failures, and that's part of the game. So for folks at that level that are kind of scared and running away, that's why Musk and all these guys are so cutthroat. You know, sometimes when you listen to them, they're just like, yo,
I expect you to sleep in the office or some shit.
Yeah, whatever, right? Like whatever is their expectation. He comes in, cleans up shop with Twitter. Why? Because Twitter was always a free platform, and like they didn't want to. When he said like, why aren't we monetizing this? And said like, let's put $20 per user to charge for Twitter. You know how like he said, okay, fuck off. Let me chop you. Right? Why? Because like you just are not on my same wavelength, right? So for those are those weak minds where like they don't want to change because like it was just done in a certain way.
Yeah.
That's just an example. But like my message to those folks,
skeptics
at that level is like, yeah, fuck. Like would users complain, and would they have like did Twitter lose like 500,000 users because like it was paid? Probably. But did Musk do it, and like, you know, did he change the way the world thought about like, you know, X and like what he's freedom of speech? And then, yeah, granted, he is like very close to Trump and probably even helped him like win the election, and there's a whole, you know, thing about that. But man, like, you know, you have to, for those skeptics in the room, like you have to be able to believe in what this positive is, like for this AI, right? And for folks, like, you know, for common people, like I said, like it's some of the things are so inevitable. If you're running behind things to hide, or like you're expecting that someone, a revolutionary leader, is going to stand up to fight a battle against all of these things and all of it put a stop to it. That's like, you're mistaken. I don't think that's going to happen. So for all the skeptics of like AI, I think you have to cultivate and evolve. And that's the thing. Like I said in my suggestions, if you learn, then you can at least think about like what's the realm of possibility and where like you can not worry about things. Or like if you are worried about something, then what do you do about it, right? But first learn about it. Don't just go by your bare minimum understanding.
Yeah.
Right? Get some more hands-on like learning, get some more. By the way, for all those folks, Google, of course, as innovative as the company is, they did something incredible. Google just dropped something called Google.skills, skills.google, or whatever that website is. If you just type in skills Google, they have opened up online digital courses to learn everything and anything to do with AI, and it's free.
Wow.
Yeah. And the whole thesis behind that is to educate humans on what the AI is, where it's going, and like
And
just
what
teach
should be taught,
what should be taught.
like you were saying at
Yeah.
universities.
And literally, if you go to skills.google,
Yeah.
you'll see paths, curriculum. It's like a new way of learning.
That's going to be the new
It is.
curriculum for universities.
It is. And that's the thing. See,
so why do you need university? Damn,
they're trying
that's
to
a whole different.
It is. So they're trying to bridge the gap between what needs to like what the thinking should be evolving into and where humans are right now, right? So that would be my advice to skeptics is like, you just have to come out of that thought process, man. You have to like embrace what's the change that is coming in the world. If you embrace it, trust me, you won't be one off. Like you will be, like you'll be in a place where, okay, now let's do something about this. What do we do about this? How do we embrace the change, right? Like how do we, and this happens all around us, by the way.
Yeah.
In sports, in like, you know, your lifestyle, so many things, like so many ways, in your haircuts, like, you know, just because like a hairstyle was a thing back then, but then like there's a new hairstyle, like you're going to evolve, right? Like you're going to change. So,
man, I appreciate you coming on because when I was doing research and like I knew things about AI, but obviously when I was like, okay, we're doing this, I really did a lot of research and I was like, like, I guess, call it information, misinformation, both ends, I guess. It didn't frighten me. I was just like, wow, there's so much I didn't know.
Yes.
So I appreciate you shedding that light on as an expert. And I hope like when people watch this, they obviously learn, but also understand like it's not all doom and gloom as that's human nature in general.
Yeah.
But there's actually, use it to your advantage. Be responsible, obviously, but you can use it to your advantage. And I guess as a business owner now, all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, okay, I'm already using AI. How can I actually use AI to enhance my workflow?
Yeah.
Albeit at a very small scale, but how can I just improve it rather than just thinking about the doom and gloom of
in all of this, if we can avoid like a Hiroshima and Nagasaki kind of thing,
that'd be also great.
That'll be awesome, right? Because like, you know, in the invention of like the whole like atomic bomb, unfortunate incident was that, and it's such a dark incident for humans. And like, so have you learned from that? I think so. That's why we have like nuclear treaties, like
I hope so.
Peacekeeping treaties and all that. So I'm pretty sure, as much of a race as it is right now, I'm pretty sure like all the folks at the top are thinking about regulations, guardrails, like all of those things as well, right? So let's give them the benefit of doubt.
Hopefully, man. But man, it's been a blast. I really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, Sachin. Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun talking about this.
Likewise. Ladies and gentlemen, Kumar Erramilli.